Have you ever wondered what makes a sportswear brand truly iconic? One that stands the test of time. How do brands like Gymshark, Lululemon, Young LA, Nike, how do they stand above the rest while others just struggle to make a ripple? They struggle to make an impression with customers. Well, this comes down to a variety of different factors, not just one core aspect. It doesn't have to just do with the logo or the marketing or the packaging. It's a mix of everything. You're a sportswear entrepreneur looking to start your own brand or to scale your own brand, and you want to make that deeper, more resonant connection with your customers. This is the episode for you. Number one, you have to have a clear and authentic brand identity. Serious brands that make and resonate with their customers have a clear and defined mission. Who are we? What do we do? And why do we do it? If you look at Nike's slogan, that is just do it. This is the rallying cry for the customers that tap into the marketing niche of Nike. When we look at just do it, we understand that this is about people who want to accomplish, who want to get better. And that resonates into everything that the brand does to support that mission. Having a clear identity is a roadmap that gives you the framework that you need to make every single decision. Whether it's a large decision like what type of logo to make, or it can be a more indirect decision like what type of employee to hire. Each of these decisions is defined within the framework of your rallying cry and your mission and the brand identity that you're building. Ask yourself, why do we do what we do? And how do we do it in a way that stands out from the crowd and is different from the competition? Number two, design memorable product with unique selling points. In a world where fashion can and has the potential to be commoditized, you must always focus your products on adding the maximum amount of value towards your customers and what their needs are to solve their pain points. Your products can be unique in the sense that they can be aesthetically and visually different with a remarkable motif that is carried on and retained across different products. A really good example of this, and one of the most famous examples of this, is the traditional three-stripe design that you see on Adidas. Whether it's on their Samba shoes, whether it's on their training jerseys, those three stripes immediately resonate with your mind as a customer, and you know that this is an Adidas product. Or it can be something else, like the waffle sole of the standard or the legacy Nike running trainers. That waffle sole was an innovation that was made by Nike all the way back in the 60s and the 70s. And this is a motif that carries on all the way to today. So how do you implement this as a brand? Well, you look at three things: the fabric, how you construct your product, and how you customize your product. When it comes to fabric, make sure you understand your core consumer and what their needs are and design functional products with functional fabrics around that. If you have a legging, make sure that your legging can withstand the squatting motion to retain its lack of sheerness over time. If you have some sort of customization that you can do, an iconic tag or an iconic motif that you can bring into the products, like Nike's swoosh or like the Adidas three stripes, make sure to do so. Make sure to brand your product to make it your own, whether it's with a color, with a fabric, or with a type of brand identity. Number three, make sure that you connect emotionally with your customers through storytelling. The way to a customer's heart is literally through their heart, through the emotional connection that you create with them. Don't just sell your products to customers, sell the why of that product. If you look at a brand like Nike, well, it's all about creating the experience of being an athlete with exceptional performance and pushing yourself against yourself to do your best. And when we look at these kinds of brands, how they create communities, here you're no longer talking to the person on a product to product basis. You're talking to them in terms of why do you want to buy from this brand? What is it that we do that connects with you on a deeper level? What are we tapping into that goes beyond the fabric, the threads, and the labor? Number four, an iconic brand is also created through consistency. It's a war of attrition. It's these small details. It's the checkout process on your website. It's the thank you card that you leave and the words that are written on the thank you card and how they are written and what message they convey. It's the packaging. It's all of the elements that form your brand in a cohesive look and feel to ensure consistency. Because you don't just tell a person what your brand is once. You keep reminding them, you keep telling them, you keep showing them your brand day after day, month after month, year after year, until it becomes iconic. Nike didn't become Nike overnight. Any brand that is iconic takes a while of consistency and development to get to the point where it becomes iconic and becomes instantly recognizable and memorable. Number five, as a brand to be iconic, you must also consistently innovate and push the envelope. A brand doesn't remain relevant by becoming stagnant. Take Under Armour, for example. They had a great start, but somewhere around the early 2010s, they stagnated. They diverted and they deviated away from their core customer base. and they started to become sort of behind the curve. Instead of innovating, they were accessing new parallels and new domains within the sportswear segment, and they were lagging behind. Focus on what you do best and consistently innovate, whether it's with Nike, where you know shoes inside out, you know them the best, you know the materials, and you're consistently finding new ways to innovate. Their Nike Flyknit technology, which was a very unique way of knitting and creating the upper. This is how you stand out, and this is how you position yourself, not just as a follower, but as a trendsetter and a thought leader within the space. Number 6, focus on community. Focus on building a tribe of like-minded people that come together under the banner of your brand. At the end of the day, people want the brands that they wear to feel like a representation of themselves, and people like to connect with people that they feel also match them in their tone of values, and what they like and what they aspire to. So brands that are able to cultivate that community focused aesthetic can create a tight-knit following of people that all reinforce each other, whether it's through influencers that tap into specific niches, similar to what Gymshark is doing right now, where they have these micro influencers. Maybe they have 100 people that intuitively follow who they are, and they've been able to create these micro communities of really deep connection to show that Gymshark supports the individual, not just these large influencers that sort of seem detached in this day and age. Or finally, one of the best examples is Alphaland, which acts as the Disneyland of fitness, a large playground that people who support health, fitness, who want to do and to be under the banner of the Alphalete brand come together in all areas of fitness. All of these parts of the brand are influenced by the community that the physical space of Alphaland has been able to create, which seeps into the Alphalete name and the Alphalete brand. Number 7, this video would be a miss if I didn't talk about marketing. You need to create marketing that resonates. Marketing that speaks to your customer and that can relate to them, their hopes, their fears, their dreams, and their aspirations. If you look at Nike's iconic collaboration with Michael Jordan, at the time, this was one of the earliest examples of celebrity endorsement. And what we did and what Nike was able to do was to take Michael Jordan and everything he had achieved and to bottle that up and to put it into shoe. You felt like you were buying a bit of MJ's greatness through the shoe. Or if you look at Adidas's collaboration with Kanye, the intensity and the scarcity of the products and when they would come out and how people would queue up for literally days to be able to get a pair of Yeezys gives you an indication of how Kanye's own influence and own image and own sort of brand aesthetic came and influenced that to make the product seem much more coveted. We're no longer looking at a shoe, we're looking at a status symbol. That's how effective marketing can elevate a product from the sum of its parts to something coveted. Number 8, longevity and evolution. If you want to play the long game, you must continuously look at things in increments of 5, 10, 20 years. You cannot look at the immediate Q1, Q2, Q3 because that forces you to make short-term decisions that ultimately may hurt your brand long-term. And the example that I've already given with that of Under Armour, where in the search of profits and market expansion, ended up over-leveraging themselves and expanding into niches and areas within their domain that didn't make sense for their brand and ultimately hurt their brand image. But if you look at Lululemon, that is very focused on how it's growing, but it's consistently evolving, introducing new types of fabrics, new types of in-store experiences to be able to stay ahead of the curve, but still stay true to their brand and their domain. This is how an iconic brand is created long term. So what we've learned is that creating an iconic brand isn't just luck. It's about being bold. It's about taking risks. It's about staying true to who you are and over-delivering in terms of your product and setting the market as a leader and a thought expert rather than a follower and someone who's just duplicating. Being the best in your industry is a process of years. It starts with that first step. So if you guys are interested in learning more about how you can start your own sportswear brand, how you can scale your business, how you can source quality manufacturers, how you can negotiate MOQs, well, consider subscribing to this channel. We do 2 videos a week and we've done so for the last 7 years, and we'd love to have you along for the ride. Guys, I say this from the very bottom of my heart. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Fittdesign TV. Until next week's episode, stay awesome.